All right, good morning, traders. Today is November 24th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That's the day trading service for the Hit and Run Candlesticks family. Thank you so much for being. Hey, thank you, everybody out there, podcast land, digital land, cyber land, okay? Thank you for following my content, liking my content, thumbs up on the content, hearts on the content, kind words on the content. Thank you for sharing the content. Special shout out John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Jim Jordan, Kathy, Sarah Roasted, everybody that shares the content. Appreciate that. Love that. Thank you. Helping get the good word out there to the rest of the communities. All right. Let's take a look at what's going on this morning. Got a few announcements. Black Friday. Get a lifetime subscription, regularly $10K for $39.95. Also got annuals on sale for $1,205, and you get an extra 6 months with that. All right, that's as a bonus. Okay, so or 6 months added on, so it's really 18 months for $1,205. So it's a pretty good deal there. Cuts the monthly thing down to like one small price there, and it's a nice value. I gotta say, instead of paying monthly, you pay it all up at once and get 18 months. You get an extra 6 months for to go with it. So that's nice. All right. Thanksgiving. I want to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving. All right. So if I don't see everybody, I want to wish you all safe travels. Hope you have an awesome time with your family. Try not to bring up politics. It just causes further aggravation. So I'm just saying this from experience. Okay. So again, travel safe. Enjoy your time with your family out there. Hope you make lots of wonderful memories. All right. Want to see you back here on. I won't see you on Black Friday, but I'd like to see you on Cyber Monday or sometime that week following it. Okay. Again, on Wednesday, trading rooms close at noon. Thursday is Turkey Day. We're closed. Black Friday, all the rooms are closed, but the markets are open till I think 1 o'clock on the markets there. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 658. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Yet Friday, SPY, QQQ, FNGU made lower highs and lower lows. Actually spinning tops, closing in or under their bearish traps, and under this, all of them closed under their 17 EMAs. Diamond Dow made higher high, higher low, closed inside a bearish trap under the 17. IWM had a fantastic daily candle. We may see things turn around. We'll see. Don't want to get ahead of myself. Made a higher high and a higher low, and it closed above the bearish trap, but also under the 17 EMA. Okay, SPY closed with a weak 1 candle, 2 hour downtrend. In other words, it just made an uptrend the 2 hour candle before. So you could call it 2 hour bearish consolidation, or you could call it a weak 1 candle, 2 hour downtrend right there. And into the close, we had a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close. Gold in a daily uptrend, all right, made an inside day. It's a higher low and a lower high. Closed under a bearish trap, but over the 17 EMA. Silver starts a new daily downtrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. USO still in a downtrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. UNG still in a daily uptrend, made a higher high, higher low, closing over bullish trap over the 17 EMA. US dollar index remains in a daily uptrend, but still trapped inside that bear flag. getting close to breaking out. We'll see. And close near the 100.15 area. SPY max pain for today, 660. Pretty much the same thing it was Friday, with a put to call ratio of about 1.5 puts for each call that expires today. And if this is your first time seeing this, all of these under here, under the bulls, are in daily uptrends over the 17 EMA. All of these under the bears are in daily downtrends under the 17 EMA. If they got a little star out there next to them, they're building out on the bull side, they're building out a launch pad or a bull flag from which to launch higher. And then there's no promise that they will launch higher, but they're building out the bull flag, or I call it the launch pad. Bears, on the bearish side, if they got a little star next to it, they're building out a bear flag, or I call it a platform sometimes, from which to dip lower. So you can see right there, they're all building out bear flags from which to dip lower. All right, so let's go take a look at the markets today. Let's pick up a clean chart. All right, and want to look at this on the 10-minute chart. Okay, so on the 10-minute chart, we've got a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. Okay, so we got the 3 EMA. We're on the 10-minute chart. See the 10 right up there. 3 EMA, which is the yellow, all right, on top of the 8 EMA. Got some daylight there between the 3 and the 8. Like that. Like it a lot. All right, so we got candlesticks here riding on top of the 3. You got the 8, got the 3 and the candlesticks riding over the 8. Both of them are pointed up, okay, and they're over VWAP, which is the brown line right there. So 10-minute uptrend currently on SPY. On the 2-hour chart, all right, we've got in the pre-market, only the pre-market, we've got a 2-hour uptrend commencing right here. Okay, you can see the 3 EMA, the yellow line, with the candlestick riding up on top of it. This one was directly on top of it. This one seems to be riding above it. We'll see what it wants to do. And again, starting to commence to break through the VWAP, which is the brown line right through here. Hardly visible with the shadows and such, but on the daily chart. Okay, on the daily chart here, yesterday's candle, not this one. I'm going to go to a new chart over here, and we'll click the daily candle. All right, back to the 2-hour. See how on the 2-hour yesterday, on Friday, we closed with the yellow line, which is the 3 underneath the 8 EMA. So we closed with a weak 1 candle downtrend right there, because we just had an uptrend for a 2-hour candle right there, and then we closed 1 underneath it. So kind of a bear flag, a move down and then over to the right. On the 10-minute, coming into the close yesterday, you can see the 3 EMA crosses under the 8. You got the candlesticks riding on top of the 3. Okay, and then you've got the 8 and the 3 both pointed in the downward direction. So we had a 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday. Already this morning we got a 10-minute uptrend. Okay, I want you to take a look. All right, because this is important here. Price action kind of failed to got a low here on the 20th. Kind of failed to make a significant lower low on the 21st. So we got a little double bottom right here, right from this bullish engulfing, and then that upside down sword with the business ends pointed down. Okay, that's that reversal sign kind of showing you. I've talked about swords before. So price comes ripping back to the upside up through VWAP, and we made a higher low. Okay, we made a little micro higher high right here, if you want to count that as a high. Okay, so we higher low, and then with the higher low, we made a higher high. All right, and right now looks like they made higher low, okay, between, well, in the pre-market, post-market from Friday and this morning. And it looks like we could come up here, and I would look for price to make a higher high up here, okay? So as it stops making higher highs, all right, it has that ability to probably roll over, come back down, check out these lows right here. So we closed, okay, on Friday right about here, right about 659.05. So that's a long way back if they're going to do the gap fill, okay? Be nice to see some bullish gaps, but we'll see what happens. We are setting up to have a bullish gap this morning. We do got some delayed economic data coming out, so we'll see what happens. And you can see here's price action, lots of spinning tops right here on the 10-minute, showing bulls and bears agreeing on price or battling it out right there between the close, all right, and the open of the day before. So we got that would be Friday's open, that would be Thursday's close right there. Now we'll have a new open, new close when we go to this chart over here on the daily chart. They have not given it to us yet, but they will as soon as the market opens up. So there's SPY. On the game plan, we'll shoot the 15-minute up there. And let's move this. You know what? Let's go back to this one right here. Okay, and click the 15 and click the game plan. Okay, this is the SPY game plan for this morning. Okay, so we have a green erases red entry above 664.30. Okay, we're getting close. Okay, we're at 663.40 right now. We're getting close. We've got another hour, almost an hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes to go. They very well could make that higher high. We'll see what happens. SPY pivot, again, 658. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. And we got a red erases, red erases green entry down here. Okay, that's below 652. Below 652 is a red erases green entry down there. Now, if they come down here to the pivot, okay, you can see the pivot. That will also be a red erases green entry right underneath the pivot there. And I would probably wait for them to clear that tail, all right, and then ride that down into here for right down to the red erases green entry, 652. So there's SPY, okay? So I like on both SPY and QQQ, okay? I like Friday options, all right? So that's 4 days till expiration, or not. That's supposed to be an 11 days till expiration. Friday options on the multiple of 5. I trade strikes $2 to $15 out of the money. I trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP. I trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, so now if I get 10-minute uptrend that happens to manifest down here long before the green erases red entry, I'm not opposed to trading it as long as it breaks that bullish 10-minute rubber band candle. All right, so 10-minute uptrend that happens to manifest here, 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 long before the green erases red entry, which is up here, okay, I'm willing to trade it. Same with the downtrends, okay, I'm willing to trade those 10-minute downtrends where the 3 and the 8 are pointed down, okay, and I'm willing to trade those as long as they break the bearish 10-minute rubber band candle, okay, to the downside, and I'm willing to take those when they're up here, okay, in this area, long before the red erases green entry down here, okay, or in here between the pivot and the green erases red entry, okay, or in here between the pivot and the red erases green entry, all right. Again, I like to see that 10-minute rubber band candle be broken, all right, on the 10-minute chart. Currently, we're on the 15-minute chart right now. Okay, so we'll see what happens. We got a 10-minute uptrend currently right now, and let's say I'll take one more look at it before I shoot off and take some looks. So you can see right here, you got the 3 and the 8 all pointed up. There's the spike candle. There's the the free floating candle that surpasses the spike candle right there, and you can see we have candles closing over there. So I would look for this to produce a higher high. All right, somewhere up here, higher high. I would look for that to manifest up there, higher high. So we'll see what happens. All right, so there's SPY on the 10-minute chart. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. All right, and we'll look at that over here and on this one right here. So 10-minute chart, and we want this right here. So 10-minute chart, just like SPY, had a 10-minute downtrend. You can see the candlesticks, all right, and the 3 riding. You can see the candlesticks riding on the 3 EMA, and they're riding, both of them, the 3 EMA and the candlesticks riding under the 8. And you can see the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA pointed down, all right, and you can see them, they're over VWAP, so we've got a 10-minute downtrend pulling back to VWAP right here. All right, so there's QQQ, 10-minute downtrend coming into the close on Friday, okay? 2-hour chart. 2-hour chart, you can see right here, there's the 3, is that yellow line. Candlesticks riding under the 3 or on the 3. So we got 2 hours, see the daylight between the 3 EMA and the 8 EMA. 3 is under the 8. So you got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close on QQQ. Let's look at the daily candle now. Okay, daily candle is spinning top. Okay, big wick, big tail, little body here. Okay, lower high, lower low. See, there's the low. We made lower low. Closing under a bearish trap. Okay, the 3 under the 8. Closing under a bearish trap. Under the 17, which is these red and green dots right here. Okay, so under the 17. So into the close, got that bearish downtrend on QQQ on the daily chart. Okay, notice here's a low, and they made a lower low. We can go look at SPY. Okay, you got same thing, lower high, lower low, spinning top again, closing. This one closed inside the bearish trap, okay, but under the falling 17 EMA. Got a low here, made a lower low, so we're still in a daily downtrend. Okay, we're still up here in quadrant 4, so that's still bullish. All right, but they gotta act bullish. All right, you need to see them act bullish, and they have not been acting bullish except for these 3 days right here. A little bit of acting bullish there. Okay, but other than that, not acting bullish. So there's SPY. Both SPY, QQQ still in daily uptrends, but they are having pullbacks or rolling over. You can see QQQ right here. Okay, same thing. See how they're rolling over, still in uptrends. Nothing's broken yet on the weekly. On the monthly chart, we got some bearish engulfing candles. Notice how the red candle eclipses all of the October candle over here. Okay, but still in an uptrend. We still got daylight between the 3 and the 8, and you can see they're both pointed up here, but you got the 3 is no longer pointed up. It's kind of pointed flat, maybe a little bit to the downside right there. Okay, so got to keep an eye on that one. There's QQQ on the monthly chart. Okay, SPY on the monthly chart. Again, you can see the 3 is no longer pointed up. It was pointed up before. Now it's kind of pointed off to the side. The 8 is still pointed up, and the 17 still pointed up. Again, uptrend still on the monthly chart. Okay, you got daylight between the 3 and the 8, so that's in an uptrend. All right, but still bullish. Nothing's broken yet. Now, both QQQ and SPY 10-minute charts. Okay, my favorite trade is the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, that resides inside both QQQ and SPY. That 10-minute uptrend that over VWAP that resides inside the 2-hour uptrend. Okay, so now you can see we didn't have that yesterday on QQQ or SPY, but we're getting it right now in the morning hour. Okay, you can see in the 2 hour, on the morning hour, you can see the 3 is now up over the 8, okay, that resides inside that 2 hour uptrend, that lives inside that daily uptrend. Now, we don't have that on the daily chart, but we might get, okay, a 10-minute uptrend that resides inside a 2 hour uptrend, but in a daily downtrend, but the weekly uptrend and a monthly uptrend. So we'll see what happens, okay? But I like it when I get all of them. All the time frames are all in synchronicity, and they're all moving in uptrends. So right now we got the weekly in an uptrend, monthly's in an uptrend, daily's in a downtrend, pre-market 2 hours in an uptrend, and 10-minute is in an uptrend. Now, if they take out this high on SPY, okay, like this high up here, I think they will negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. Okay, they need to take out the high though, all right, to negate the downtrend. Okay, let's take a look over here, see what happens on daily chart. Okay, actually, if they take out this one, well, that's kind of just one candle, not really enough. If they take out that high right there, all right, QQQ, SPY, right there, if they take that high out, that will be a nice, that will convert the downtrend into an uptrend right there. So SPY. Again, both of them up in quadrant 4, so that's bullish, okay, but in downtrends. On the daily chart, okay, bullish, but in downtrends. All right, let's take a look at QQQ game plan one more time. I don't think we even visited it. Let's take a look at it with the 15-minute, okay. Again, I like 4 days and 11 days till expiration Friday options on the multiple of 5, specifically for the open interest. All right, open interest means more liquidity. I like that. I like strikes $2 to $15 out of the money because I like them cheap, so I can get a lot of them. I like to trade 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, and I like to trade 10-minute downtrends under VWAP. Okay, got green erases red over 597. We're getting close. Got a pivot, 589.40. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Okay, and red erases green underneath 582.35 right there. Okay, so underneath 582.35. I don't think we'll see that today, but you never know. I could get surprised. And there's QQQ. That's the game plan for QQQ. So we got a green erases red. Currently, you got a 10-minute uptrend. If you like to trade pre-market, that's a good trade for me. I would take it if I could trade pre-market, but I can't, not with this account right here. So there's QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGU. And I would look for price to make the higher high. FNGU on the daily chart, okay? Lower high, lower low, spinning top. You can see big wick, big tail. Closing below a bearish trap, below the falling 17 right here. Okay, underneath all of this bullish consolidation right here, which makes this major support because we got up on top of it, and now we're closing underneath it, so that's not good. So the bulls need to make a recovery candle sometime today. They don't have to take out the whole red candle, but they do need to close back up in here over 27.50. Okay, so they got to close up in there. All right, back into the consolidation. All right. Otherwise, we could get follow through on this big red candle. So far, spinning top says bulls and bears agree on price. That's not quite the follow through candle I would be looking for, because that very well could reverse and come right back up there. We'll see what happens. Okay, so that's FNGU. Still in a daily downtrend. Again, there's a low, and we made lower low. See right here? So that's in a daily downtrend. Let's take a look at IWM. Now look at IWM, got that inside day. Okay, nice candle there. Lower high, higher low, closing over the bearish trap under the falling 17 EMA. On the right up here, still in quadrant 4. So that's bullish, but still in a daily downtrend. FNGU, notice just barely hanging on to the upper third right there, okay? If they'd have closed any lower than that, it would be neutral, all right? Closing anything lower than that would be neutral. But up here, still bullish in the upper third, all right? But not doing anything bullish, all right? Still in a downtrend. It's got to be doing some bullish activity. It's not doing it right now, okay? So maybe they're getting juiced up on spinach and red meat. Who knows? We'll see. Maybe a little mustard on there. We'll see. FNGU. Let's take a look at Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow puts in a higher low and a higher high. Closed inside bearish trap, but under the falling 17 EMA. Still in quadrant 4, so that's bullish, but still in a downtrend. There's a low. They made a lower low, so they're still in a downtrend for Diamond Dow right there. Okay, so GLD, let's take a look. They're still in an uptrend. Not moving up, kind of moving to the right. Got an inside day, lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap and under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Middle of quadrant 4 in a bullish uptrend, but not really moving up. Gold, bullish and in an uptrend that's not going anywhere yet. Okay, so there's gold. Silver on the daily chart, lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish trap. Under a bearish cross, under the 17, under the all-time high anchored VWAP. Now in a downtrend, okay, but in the middle of quadrant 4, so that's bullish, all right, up there. But now just starting a downtrend because they made, that low comes through the 17, so they made a lower low, so that puts them in daily downtrend, okay? So they need to take out this high. If they take out that high, they can negate the downtrend and convert the uptrend. So there's silver. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG actually kind of shaping up lately. Looking at it hold the higher ground for more than, look at this, 2 candles here. Hardly going to call that higher ground. More than, see, 3 candles there, 2 candles there, 1 candle there, 2 candles there, 3 candles there. See, like, you got like a 1, 2, 3. I'm not going to count these 2, 4, 5, 6 day hold over consolidation. All right, that's holding the higher ground up there. Okay, that's a good sign. That's in an uptrend right now. Yesterday's candle, higher low, higher high, closing over a bullish trap, over the rising 17 EMA, but under the 2025 high anchored VWAP. Still in quadrant 1, so still bearish, but in an uptrend. All right, so they could be breaking out of this. All right, so wouldn't be surprised to see them break out of there. So just UNG. Let's take a look at USO. Okay, USO still in a downtrend, making on the daily chart. Okay, there's a high, lower highs. There's a low, lower lows. Okay, so lower high, see here, and lower low. Almost if they closed at the bottom of that, that would have been bearish territory. That would be the lower third right here. They didn't close in there, so they're just neutral, but still in a daily downtrend right there on USO. Let's take a look at our technicals. And T2101 right here. So market kind of went up. Did it go up yesterday? Yeah, it went up. Went up yesterday. Friday. All right. And we lost participation. Okay. The breadth and participation All right, not precipitation, but participation. Okay, breath and participation kind of interchangeable here. Okay, so uh, wind in the sails. Okay, so we lost participation as we moved up. So seems like when we go down, we get more participation. So we have more wind in our sails when we go down, but when we go up, not so much. T2101, okay, because we went up on Friday. Let's take a look at T2102. Again, we went up, so here it is, price ripping, all right, from oversold zone, making a pit stop in sell zone here, and then ripping all the way through seller's chop zone, landing in buyer's chop zone, okay, producing a higher low right here, no higher high yet, and then after making the higher low, we produce there's a higher high up here, but note not higher than this. Okay, so uptrend going there on in T21 and 22, winding up closing or ending up closing in the buyer's chop zone near the midpoint. So nice work on the bulls part, being able to hold it up there at the midpoint. So that's nice work for them. T21.23. We ended the day with just barely inking out after making this low, that valley low, inking out a higher high right here, little higher high, not much. There's a low, we made a higher low, and we turned around and made a higher high. So 15-minute is in an uptrend, but let's look at it carefully here because it's nothing spectacular if you ask me. Move this out of the way. You can see there's the all-time high. There's first wave lower, second wave lower, okay? Third wave lower, and then here's our fourth wave lower. We're still way down here in quadrant 1 that's bearish, all right? But on the 15-minute, we have an uptrend simply because they made a valley and then a higher high up here. So we have a 15-minute uptrend on T21.23. Now T21.23 3-bar chart. You can go back to the 15. You can see price action is under the 200 SMA. Not my favorite place to be. Okay, darn near the bottom of quadrant 1, so that's bearish, but in that uptrend right there. So let's go to 3-bar chart, and on the 3-bar chart we make there's the all-time high. We make a lower high. From the lower high we make a lower low. From the lower low we make another lower high, in which we make another lower low, and then produced another lower high, which caused another lower low down here. Okay, so that's barely hanging on. This is that rally from April all the way up to the all-time high, and you can see barely hanging on to that upper third. If I take this off, okay, so barely hanging on to that upper third up there under the 200 SMA. So it's still not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear, not a bear. But you can see right here, still in that downtrend. They need to break this line right there, okay? They need to break through and hold higher ground. Recently, they're not holding any higher ground at all. Actually, the only good thing that happened yesterday is we had a bearish gap down, and the bulls filled the bearish gap down. That's T21.23. FNGU, which will be this one. And on FNGU yesterday we had, did we have a bearish gap down? No, we didn't. Just kind of left off where we were. Price action produced higher low. There's a low. They produced a higher low, right? And then we have a high here, and they produced a higher high. So they got themselves into a nice uptrend. Notice we have not made any lower lows. So again, I would be looking for a price to be inspired by the bulls to make a higher high than where we closed or the high of day for Friday right there. So I would look for them to ink out a new high, new higher high than what we left off with, or the high that we had on Friday. That's FNGU. Still underneath the 200 SMA here. So not my favorite place to be. Currently on the 15 minute, we've got a low and then a high and then a higher low. And did we get a higher high yet? And we got a higher high. So we're in a 15-minute uptrend currently. Now coming into the close yesterday, we can take this off and let's see what happens if we take this off. Coming into the close, you can see we made a higher high, so we had an uptrend on FNGU on the 15-minute as well. Still under the 200 SMA, not my favorite place to be unless I'm a bear. Still underneath all-time pink line, all-time high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, so there's FNGU. Let's take a look at our economic data. Okay, now a lot of delayed reports are being announced or publicized. That's all I'll say. It's kind of late for them now. It's kind of irrelevant to look at, I don't know, not October, but September unemployment or September data. When we're in November, we've already missed a month, so it's kind of becoming irrelevant right there. But anyways, this is the dollar, all right? And you can see the dollar moved from a high down to a low and then over to the right. So if they break up over and start closing candles over, see this peak right there, all right? That would be kind of a breakout of the bear flag. Currently, they are challenging that area. You can see a top there and a top there. They're in an uptrend. They made a higher low in that big bear flag. Okay, so that's a kind of a weekly bear flag right there. All right. But right there on daily chart, we got higher lows, making higher highs, got a higher low, and we got, I'm just going to call it an equal high right there. So daily charts in an uptrend on the U.S. dollar. We like a weak dollar because it makes our goods and services more competitive on the global stage or in the global economy. All right, but when you got a strong dollar, what happens is it costs foreign countries more of their currencies to purchase our goods and services because our dollar is so strong. So it's nice to have that weak dollar. But that sucks as the consumer because then your dollar doesn't go as far. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. For the investor, we like a weak dollar. For the consumer in us, not so much. Earnings reports for today. We've got Agilent is $41 billion. They're going to report. And Symbiotic, 32. So really just some familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets, all right? For Tuesday, we've got Alibaba, $353 billion. They're going to report in the morning. Usually that's kind of considered tech, but like Google would report in the evening. Alibaba or Amazon would report in the evenings, but Alibaba's reporting in the morning, okay, on Tuesday, $353 billion. That's a big market cap. And BHP Group, I think they were on last week, still trying to put together the profit and loss or find what's the missing data to complete that profit and loss so that they can submit. Doesn't look like they're going to make it on time either. That's $135 billion. Can't tell if that's morning or night because there's no moon or sun right there. And then we got analog devices, $110 billion. Going to report that probably should have been in the evening, analog devices. but it's going to report in the morning with Alibaba. All right. Again, nothing here is going to be market moving. Alibaba should have put a little help if they get good earnings in the tech sector or in the retail sector. We'll see. All right. But that's it right there. Alibaba, only $353 billion. Okay. Not quite enough to really manipulate the markets or push the markets around. All right, Wednesday. Remember, Wednesday's a half day. Okay, we close at 1 o'clock. I think the market we close at noon. Okay, I think the markets close at 1 o'clock. John Deere's going to report $128 billion. Again, more familiar names. Nothing that's going to move the markets. We'll be eating with our families on Thursday. Again, more familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets. Friday. This would be Black Friday right there. Again, more familiar names, nothing that's going to move the markets on Friday, Saturday. There's no data for that. Okay, so there's earnings. On the economic calendar today, Chicago Fed National Activity Index, 8:30, and that's a delayed report from last month. And tomorrow we've got PPI Final Demand. It's a delayed report coming out at 8:30 tomorrow. Retail sales, another delayed report coming out at 8:30 tomorrow. Case-Shiller Home Price Index, 9 o'clock. That's coming out tomorrow. FHFA House Price Index, another one at 9. So if you didn't get enough of one house price index, they're going to give you two. All right. And then Consumer Confidence, 10 o'clock. On Tuesday in the morning, consumer confidence, and business inventories at 10 o'clock as well on Tuesday, and pending home sales index 10 o'clock on Tuesday, and then that's it. Wednesday, I think the markets are closed half day. We'll see. Durable goods orders, okay, that's a delayed report as well, probably for prior month, 8:30 on Wednesday morning. Durable good orders, 8:30 on Wednesday morning. GDP, 8:30 on Wednesday morning. That's going to be a headliner. That would be the main event for me for this week. Besides Black Friday, the results of any Black Friday sales, all right, that would be a headliner as well. This would probably be the main event, GDP 8:30, okay, because it's not delayed. You got international trade goods and services, 8:30 on Wednesday. Jobless claims, 8:30 on Wednesday. Corporate profits, 8:30. Retail inventories at 8:30. Wholesale inventories, 8:30. Chicago PMI, 9:45. New home sales, 10 o'clock on Wednesday morning. Personal income and outlays, that will be interesting. That comes out 10 o'clock on Wednesday. That could move the markets. And a petroleum report on Wednesday right here. Okay, this morning, I'm interested in on SPY, QQQ. Okay, SPY, QQQ. I'm interested in falling in line on the 10-minute uptrend, okay? I just want to fall in line on that 10-minute uptrend, okay, for SPY, if it's still going. And let me find the ones I was working with. I think they were way over here. Right here, okay? So on that 10-minute, and I want the one with the pre-market, and I want the 10-minute. Okay, so on this 10-minute uptrend, I would look for continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Okay, so I would want a green candle, no spinning tops. Okay, no candle with more wick than body and tail. All right, no spinning tops, no dojis, no red candles. So looking for a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. Now, if they pull back to VWAP, and they may do that before we open up the markets, okay, then I'm going to box off the first 15 minutes and trade the breakout of the first 15 minutes. Okay, that's the plan. Unless they break the ceiling here for the pre-market or the floor here on the pre-market. All right, that's it. I'll see you guys in about 35, 45 minutes, 40 minutes, and we'll kick off the markets and trade them together. All right, so I'll see you guys in about 35 minutes.